Hi friends, I am Dipesh Narendra Mahodaya. Welcome to online training program on my YouTube channel for HVAC. Today I want to talk about the new topic. It's called as basic refrigeration cycle. Means vapor compression refrigeration cycle. It's a very important cycle to know about. Let's have its work. In the vapor compression refrigeration cycle having four main parts. First one is compressor, condenser, expansion device and the evaporator. The compressor is the main part of the vapor compression refrigerant system. It can be said to the heart of the refrigerant system. The function of the compressor is make a pressure difference to the refrigerant system and circulate refrigerant to the all over the refrigerant system. In the compressor, piston, connecting rod, crankshaft, suction valve, discharge valve, head plate, wall plates, all these parts help of create compression in the compressor. In the compressor, piston goes to the downward stroke, cylinder board gets some vacuum. Then low pressure, low temperature, superheated vapor from the evaporator are pushed down the suction valve and enters to the cylinder board. Then piston goes to the compression stroke, pressure and temperature will be rise. Then high pressure, high temperature, superheated vapor refrigerant are goes to the condenser with the help of discharge valve. Then high pressure, high temperature, superheated vapor refrigerant are enters to the condenser. The function of the condenser is high pressure, high temperature, superheated vapor are converted to the high pressure but lowering down the temperature. And second one is heat can be rejected from the refrigerant to the atmosphere. Basic rule of the refrigerant systems having heat can be flow from the high temperature to low temperature. Condenser's temperature is higher than atmospheric temperature. Then condenser's heat easily removed to the atmosphere. Then high pressure, high temperature, superheated vapor are end of the condenser converts to the liquid refrigerant. Here are the red color are indicated by high pressure, high temperature, and end of the condenser yellow color are indicated by subcooled liquid refrigerant. And then subcooled liquid refrigerant goes to the filter dryer. In the filter dryer having the three main parts: coarse mesh, silica gel, and the fine mesh. The function of the filter dryer is absorb moisture from the liquid refrigerant and strain out the metal particles from the liquid refrigerant. The liquid line connected to the filter dryer inlet, then filter absorb the moisture particles from the liquid refrigerant and strain out the metal particles from the compressor, and then pure and purified liquid refrigerant goes to the expansion device. The function of the expansion device is reduce the pressure and temperature, and second one is supply liquid refrigerant to the evaporator. In the expansion device having small orifice, then liquid refrigerant passes to the small orifice, there occurs resistive strength, then their pressure and temperature will be dropped. Then low pressure, low temperature, liquid refrigerant expands to the evaporator. The function of the evaporator is absorb heat from the surrounding, and low pressure, low temperature, saturated liquid refrigerant converts to the low pressure, low temperature but superheated vapor refrigerant. In the evaporator having a low pressure, low temperature liquid refrigerant. Then evaporated liquid refrigerant temperature is lower than surrounding temperature, then evaporator absorb heat. After absorbing heat, liquid refrigerant boil up and then surrounding areas create a cooling. Then this low pressure, low temperature, saturated vapor, liquid refrigerant are end of the evaporator totally converts to the low pressure, low temperature, superheated vapor, and then this vapor refrigerant come back to the compressor. In this way, the cycle continuously run and continuously produce a cooling effect. Is known as vapor compression refrigeration cycle. Let's see the application of the vapor compression refrigeration cycle. refrigerators, air conditioners, water cooler, visible cooler, bottle cooler, central air conditioning plant, cold storage plant, ice cream plant, ice candy plants. So all these machines are related to the vapor compression reference cycle. It's a very important cycle to know. Thank you for watching this video. If you like my video, don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. We will meet with a new topic. Then goodbye friends. Have a nice day.